Hey, it's Keith, LocalBizBuilders, Offline Domination again. In one of my previous videos, we touched on the topic of objections from small business owners. And I put a post up in the forum, and I got a few responses. And I added a few of my own. Objections. First one, no money to advertise. Probably the most popular, which is why I put it at number one. The same people that'll complain that they don't have the money are the same people that are probably spending $200 to $300 a month in the yellow pages. Not everybody, but they'll even spend $500-$600 for a one-time ad in the newspaper, which we all know is about as useful as it's just totally pointless. So they do have money there, but they choose not to do anything with their website. It's up to us to really drive home the point of a website. Again, we're not in this to teach everybody everything. We need to show them the possibilities. Case studies is probably the most effective. People get excited. It's no different. We're all entrepreneurs. I like going to Inc. magazine online and reading the success stories because it gets me motivated. People like to hear success stories, and we see it in internet marketing as well. In the form of a testimonial. So having, it doesn't even have to be your case study. It could be a small business that got online and is doing very well and brought in extra X amount of revenue and X amount of customers. Uh, those kind of things really get them psyched up. And if you can also show them the the point that it's not going to cost them, they're investing in themselves. And this is where your confidence comes in. You have to have something that you can deliver to them that's going to yield them positive results. And if you can do that effectively, you can write your own ticket. You can charge anything you want. And when it comes to advertising, uh, costs, meaning their website, they tend to automatically shut down when you mention website. And it's not all of them, but it's most of them. And they tend to not want to spend a dime because they think it's ineffective, which kind of goes into point number two. The internet doesn't apply to my business. I've heard that a lot of times, especially in the service-based businesses. Um, a lot of them say, well, we're service-based, and there are different types of service-based. There's your trades, and then there's your cleaning services, and things like that. Where some of them people, you know, you could make the argument that you pretty much just want your name in their face as often as possible. So that way, when they do need you, you're available. Um, it's hard to justify this. It affects everybody. I don't care who you are. If you're a small business owner, being on the internet is important because nobody uses the damn yellow pages anymore. We're all in front of the computer or an iPhone where it takes 2 seconds to Google something. If you don't show up, you're screwed. And you may be doing a very good business and you've been established for 20 years and everybody knows who you are, but you still got to be there because there's a lot of people who don't. And word of mouth only goes so far, and it certainly can't hurt. Even if you have a thriving business and no website or a really crappy one, it can't hurt. It can only help you. And there's a certain mentality among small business owners, and it's kind of old school mentality, and people just don't want to, and they have an excuse. It doesn't apply to my business. Yes, it does. Um, Objections are something that need to be overcome, hopefully before you even get your foot in the door. Put them on your website. You know, answer their questions before they ask them. And not only will it solve that problem when you get in front of them and they put you on the spot, but it'll also weed out the ones that read it, look at it, and say, screw it, I still don't believe it. Guess what? They're not worth it. Move on. I've been burned on a website before. Third one. Yep, Most of the people I've talked to have websites already, and they really, really, really suck. They look like they were done in front page back in 1999, and they haven't been updated. The copyright on the bottom says 2003, if you're lucky. And they probably spent $3,000 on it back when it really cost a fortune. So, and it does nothing for them. Or they have something that's fairly new and it's more like a brochure. So we need to show them the power of a website, meaning what a effective direct response website can do for them, how it can drive traffic to their store, and then, in my opinion, how they can drive their clients in their store or restaurant or whatever to the website and keep in contact with people on a regular basis. Some of them say, I don't know where to begin. Well, it's kind of an objection. It's more of an excuse. You're going to help them and show them where to begin. And you do that by evaluating their business and their needs. And that's where you start and you work backwards from there. I don't have the time to maintain it. I just put I don't have time because I was too lazy to write maintain. Yes and no, that's great for you. Yes, it goes back to my last video on residual income. Maintenance, it does come into the problem of you don't know their business, so you need them to create content for you to update. But you can work that into, Facebook updates. Those are quick one-liners. Simple maintenance plans like that are very affordable, or you can make them very affordable, and you don't have to rely on them as much on generating this huge article, which they're not going to do. And sometimes you have to kind of prod them along a little bit and say, if you get a new product in, did you create a new special? Did you have a performer at your restaurant or your pub, or you have to ask them some questions, and over time they will. I've had some that really just came along, and at first they couldn't come up with anything on their own. Now it's they're inundating me with updates, which is perfect. And then when it comes down to you as a professional, they'll say, "Oh, my brother's girlfriend's cousin's sister can do it." Yeah, well, designing a website and making an effective website are two different things. The internet's cluttered with a bunch of websites done by my brother's girlfriend's cousin. Having an effective one that drives traffic is where you stand out above the rest. And I've since day one, I've never gone out and told anybody I'm a web designer. I always say I do marketing and web design. I work with small businesses to combine their on and offline efforts. Right there, just in that small 2 sentences, I've set myself apart from everybody else. And it doesn't allow them to compare apples and apples. Because if you do that, my brother's girlfriend's cousin can design a website for $100 for me. Well, it's going to cost you $500 if you use me. Well, apples and apples, I'm going to go with the $100 site. You add in the fact that your website for $500 does this, this, and this. What does your brother's girlfriend's cousin's website do? And it's not apples and apples anymore. It's apples and oranges, and it changes the whole thing. So those are just a few objections. If you guys have more that you've heard out in the field, make sure you list them in the comments, and I can address them in another video or on the forum. I will talk to you later.